In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a batch script that allows a user to launch Creo, and based on their username, it determines what license they should open. The difference between this and the standard method is that if you use the proe.exe command, you can see a list of the different licenses that you can choose from. In this case, what I'm going to show you is how to make that choice for them automatically based on their username. So the first thing I want to show is when you go through your setup, when you look at the additional license configuration option, you have these different license types. I call them groups. Initially, you would just have one, but you can create more. If you look inside of these, you can name them anything you want. You choose the license that will run based on this configuration and any extensions that will run. The configuration name is what the PSF file will be called. You can simplify this by naming your configuration and your configuration name the same, but for this example I didn't do that. If you look into this other one, again, it can have a different type of license with maybe no extensions, depending on the type of users you have and what license you want them to retrieve. Once you do this, you configure it. I'm not going to go through that, and it'll go through the installation, and what you would see is in the load point where you installed Creo, in this example here, you would find that you have a PSF file and a batch file for each of those configuration names. I left mine as parametric 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, you can name these to match the configuration name itself, but you don't need to do anything with these particular files. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood how these PSF files are generated. They're generated during your setup, and you choose what license or extensions are related to a particular configuration. So when you launch Proe or Creo with the executable, the list of options that you see for licenses are based on these configurations. Okay, so what I did is I created a script, a simple script, that when this is nothing more than a desktop shortcut that they double click and it launches this batch file. And the batch file, as you can see here, parametric 1 in this particular group, I want a particular user to use this particular license. So I say if exists Maximus, go to parametric 1. If you go down to parametric 1, which is what this colon does, it allows, when you use the go-to command, it basically jumps to whatever name you typed after to the same name in the batch script, regardless of where it's located, based on this colon. So that's, most people know this stuff by now. But so if Maximus is the one that launched Creo, it would jump down here and it'll know what configuration to launch. Another thing is that you have to type this in. If not, you'll have some problems with your batch files. Start Creo. If you're using Creo 2, it'll be Creo space 2.0 space your build and then parametric and close quotes. Then you do a space and you have your path to the actual executable, which you see here, and then a space, and then you basically have a path to the actual configuration name, the .psf file. And then you say go to end, and it finishes. If a different user launched this, let's say Master Chief, well, the batch file will go down and it'll say, well, it's not Maximus, it's Master Chief, so it'll go to parametric 2 and it'll go through the same process. It'll use the parametric.exe, but it knows to launch the parametric 2 configuration, so he gets the, or she gets the particular license and extension related to that configuration. And then it goes to the end, and that's it. So from the user perspective, they're just double-clicking on an icon. Creo comes up with the licenses they need. They don't have to choose from a list. Now this works for us because I have a group of engineers that do FEA. I have a group that do reverse engineering. So I have specific extensions that need to be given to these different groups, and I kind of just figured out who needs to run what. So this is how we do it, and again, it just makes it easier on the user side because they don't have to really think about anything. Now the icon that they're double-clicking on their desktop to launch obviously points to this batch file. Okay, so then the batch file runs. But another thing that I do is I put the user configuration, the config.pros, on the network in case the hard drive blows out. You don't have to worry about users losing their config.pro. So in the start directory here, I put a path to the network, and I have a folder called Creo-user, and everybody has a username, a folder based on their username there with their config.pro and what have you. I use this parameter here as a standard Windows parameter, %username%. So depending on the person who's logged in, it knows what folder to look into to bring that config.pro file over. So they just click on this icon, it launches this batch script, it pulls in their config.pro, and they always get the correct license that was assigned to them. So I just wanted to cover that. I'm not sure if it's helpful for anybody, but maybe you can find it useful.